Hi, this next model is the Micro All-in-One 3D Printer Test. I found this model on Thingiverse. Here's a link to the Thingiverse page. The same author actually has several different models available. He's got a full-size one, a mini one, and a micro one. I went with the micro one so I could do a test without using a whole lot of filament or taking a whole lot of time. You can see the result here. This is Amazon Basics black PETG printed with 0.15 millimeter layer height on my Prusa i3 Mark III printer. And the reason you'd print one of these things is that you want to test your printer. You want to know if it's working within spec, if it's giving you the overhang you want, if it's doing the bridging you want, what it's doing with stringiness. So that's your basic test, is to see if the printer is performing as expected. The other reason you'd want to print it is maybe you want to tweak the settings, change some temperatures, change some live Z's, and see how it affects the quality of the print. So anyway, looking at this, it's got several features. It's got two different overhangs here. This one goes 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. The other one goes 15, 30, 45, 60, and 75. Here you can kind of see them on end. There's also down here some bridges, so there'll be like two ends and a big open gap in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. And then it'll bridge between. You can see how well it bridges. It does a couple circles, so you could measure the inside and the outside diameter to see if it's printing the right specifications. There's a couple pyramid-shaped things that come up to a point, and you can see how well it does a sharp point. There's lettering throughout. There's some pillars over here on this side that shows whether you end up with stringing between them. Over here there's a set of very fine lines. I don't know if you can quite see it on here. Let me kind of angle it, but several of the lines on part of it were skipped. I looked in Slicer, and it turns out the Slicer did not put those lines in. So I think what happened is those lines were too small, and Slicer said, I can't do that, so I'm just skipping some of those lines. So it wasn't actually a printing failure, it was actually a slicing issue. And on the back of it, I wrote the temperatures that I printed this one at. So this was 250 degree nozzle, 90 degree bed. So probably what a person would do is print several of these in different temperatures, and then you could see how the different temperatures impact the printability. So I'm probably going to do that. I might choose a filament other than black, just so it's easier to see, better contrast next time. The other thing I might do is I might try to do it in several different materials, just to see how different materials behave on the printer. But I think this test turned out pretty good. I mean, I got all of the overhangs that I was supposed to get. The bridging worked. There's some stringing around, but you know, that's probably normal on PETG. Some stringing in there too. There's a little bit of crud dumped on top of one of the points. But I think it did all right. I might try dialing the settings around a little bit and see what happens. Next I'm going to show the Octolapse. This Octolapse is actually kind of interesting because it shows the overhangs as they're being printed. Here it goes.